Good afternoon guys, I hope all is well. Just popping on very quickly to discuss the topic of cheat meals. It's been a trendy one recently, especially with competition season approaching for a lot of people that actually compete in physique competitions. So, there's a lot of cheat meals and stuff on social media at the moment. And as a result, that can influence the dietary practices of a lot of the general population that are following these people who feel that a cheat meal is a normal part of a program. Now, we at Triage believe that cheat meals just shouldn't really be part of a program for most people. If someone is gonna have a meal at a wedding or something like that, we will do our best to facilitate that or accommodate that by actually making some reductions earlier in the week to try and make up for the extra calories that are going to be eaten. Sometimes, someone's just going to eat over the calories, and that's fine. We'll allow for that, and we'll just keep on working toward the goal. Most of our clients don't have a specific end point in terms of a competition, so that isn't the biggest deal in the world. It just slows us down a little bit. But that's the important point to note, is that it is slowing us down and it is an obstacle. It does not offer a physiological benefit for the most part, okay? So just a little background on cheat meals and why people say they actually should be done. So generally people are going to say, oh, if you have one day where you're bad but you're good all week, whatever that means, then your cheat meal isn't really going to hamper your progress. You're still going to make progress. And you'll see in a minute why that isn't quite true when we actually consider the laws of thermodynamics, the whole calories in, calories out, energy balance stuff that we're constantly ramping on about. Okay, so that's the first thing. People are saying that it won't make a difference. Then you've got people further along the line, people that will be more advanced, that would have kind of thought of some hormones or thought of some of the physiology, that they're saying that there is actually a physiological benefit, so that when we diet, a lot of these processes down-regulate, and then by having a cheat meal, we actually end up up-regulating a lot of these things that slow down and getting some benefits that actually enhance the diet in the long run. This isn't entirely true, because when we look at the actual hormones that are affected and the processes that are affected, that are affecting our metabolism, and we look at how different nutrients actually affect them being upregulated again, it's generally going to be a diet break or a refeed for a period of about a week or a couple of weeks even, if you really want to start to kind of upregulate these processes again. When we look at it in a 24-hour period of overfeeding or in a single meals feeding, we see that the upregulations that occur don't actually account for the extra calories that are eaten or anywhere close to it, and the upregulations in leptin and things like that you hear thrown about are very, very transient, and they'll just go back to normal again the day after, as soon as you start your calorie deficit again. So you're not really getting the physiological benefits that you think you might. Some of the benefits that may be there are, you're going to refill your glycogen stores because they're going to deplete, and as we increase our carbohydrate intake through these meals, then we're going to get those stores filling up again. But it's probably better to have a structured refeed in terms of adding in some extra carbohydrates on some days when you actually do feel that that is a real limiting factor to your training quality, than going out and having a meal that is typically very, very dense in fats and calories as a whole. You'd be far better off to just bump up to maintenance from carbohydrates alone, okay? So then we come to the kind of psychological side of things. Sure, after a long period of dieting, there is a psychological toll that is taken. So by having this meal, it may benefit you psychologically, it may help you to actually stick to your diet then going forward again. But just know that it's not really something that is enhancing your progress, and it is limiting your progress for the most part. Now, you will see a lot of physique competitors, throwing in cheat meals and then, still making lots of progress thereafter. But what you then have to recognize is that they're probably eating a lot lower throughout the week than they could get away with if they were to keep their calories that bit higher and just maintain consistent calorie balance throughout the week. Now, personally, I'd rather eat higher calories throughout the week and not really struggle just to allow myself to binge at the weekend. That makes zero sense to me. And I wouldn't employ that with any of my clients. As I said, we generally apply structured refeeds to any competitors that we have, but to the average general population, there's no reason for you to be fitting in cheat meals, refeeds, these kind of advanced techniques that may not even be useful, but rather you should just be looking to fit in small quantities of the foods you actually enjoy into your calorie allowance for the day, throughout the week. Small little bits here and there that allow adherence to the diet that little bit better, and that allow you to apply that, flexible dieting that we talk about. I don't think you're being a flexible dieter if you're restricting yourself throughout the week just to binge at the weekend. So let's actually look at how this affects your results, because this is ultimately the most important thing to you. So what I've done is drawn up a quick little graph here, and what you'll see is this is the typical calorie intake throughout the week of someone that is having a cheat meal. So I'm just picking arbitrary numbers. These aren't numbers that are relative to anyone. And this person's maintenance calories are 2,000 calories, meaning they require that amount of calories to sustain their body weight. So if they were to eat that amount of calories, they're not going to lose or gain weight. They're just going to stay the exact same, okay? So this person's dieting, so they're eating 1,700 calories, giving them a 300 calorie deficit, which is going to allow them to lose some body fat. So when we look at that 300 calorie deficit throughout 6 days of the week, assuming that someone's on track for 6 days of the week, that gives them an 1,800 calorie deficit. That's a nice little accumulated deficit, and you are going to make some progress on that, okay? Now, if we look at how it fits into the week when we then have a cheat meal, let's say of like 1,800 calories over maintenance, and if you think that's a lot, it's really not. So let's say someone eats 3,800 calories, so they eat their normal food, but then they go out for dinner, they have dessert, and they have a little bit of chocolate or a bottle of beer when they come home. Easily rack up 3,800 calories. So let's look at how that fits into the week then. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're on track, you're eating your 1,700 calories, you've got your deficit, all is going well. Then on Saturday, you bump things up to 3,800 calories through your cheat meal that you actually felt was justified, and maybe that's information that was given to you, it's not necessarily your fault. So you bumped up to 3,800 calories. You had that big period of overfeeding, you feel good, and then Sunday, back to 1,700 calories again, back on the diet. Weigh in Monday, weight's the exact same, you're upset, you were so adherent, you've done exactly as you were supposed to do, you only had the one cheat meal which was supposedly justified and was going to enhance your progress. What just happened, okay? So as we said, you accumulated an 1,800 calorie deficit throughout the week. Then what you done was had a 3,800 calorie day. So as we said, maintenance was 2,000, 3,800 minus 2,000 is 1,800. So what you actually done was completely undone the calorie deficit that you would work so hard to induce throughout the week. Now as a result, you'd completely undone that work, and now you're back to square one, exactly where you were last week. And what we see a lot of dieters doing before they come to us, or people that even just message us or email us, is they're doing this for long periods of time. They're very upset with their progress because, you know, these people are actually putting in work. And because of maybe they've seen certain people on social media, or maybe like they've seen that, oh, my friend was being coached by this person, they had this cheat meal, etc., etc. These people feel they're doing a good job by doing this, you know, or that, you know, they heard in the gym that, oh, if you're good 6 days and you know, you have some extra food one day, it's not going to make a difference. It makes a difference, guys. Trust us. We have worked with hundreds of clients, so many fat loss clients, and we do not employ these strategies for the most part with our clients because we are looking to give them the best results they can get, and as well the healthiest relationship with food and with dieting that they can possibly have. And for us, that means including maybe foods that they enjoy throughout the week in some small amounts, while adhering to, you know, healthy and sustainable calorie totals, as opposed to restricting and then binging on a cheat meal at the weekend. We don't think that is a very good strategy. If you have any further questions, guys, feel free to fire them down in the comment box below. Thank you for watching. Hope you all have a good weekend, and don't have that cheat meal this weekend. Thanks, guys.